Okay, so good morning, guys. Welcome back. We will continue with our AWS session. So today is AWS Day-8 session, and today the date is 5th of yours, December 2025, and the timing is morning 8:13 a.m. IST. So, guys, why I'm mentioning the time because some of you pinged me from a group saying that, sir, please maintain this sanctity of managing this time and date, everything. That looks good. Even from the people from the a lot of my YouTube member people, right? Even they also try to send a message to me saying that, sir, please maintain this. It is required. So that's what, based on the audience and based on the people, right? Most of the people, they said that, okay, you maintain this, it looks good actually. So we'll continue with this itself. Okay. Now, so guys, today would be very important because today we are continuing with the VPC. Okay. So in the last session, that is in a day 7 session, we try to understand about what is VPC is all about, right? Like whenever you want to start building your project or anything, right? The first thing what you set up in your AWS is nothing but your networking. And networking, the thing what we start is nothing but the VPC. So VPC is called as a virtual private cloud. Okay. So that is one of the service we use it actually, and it is same thing like your virtual LAN, what you have in on premises. Okay, so it means that you need to set up some kind of a networking so that you can start you can start building your entire network architecture, and inside the network architecture you will be setting up many other things. Like for example, as soon as you create a VPC, virtual private cloud, right, you cannot create any resource. Say for example, I want to create an EC2 instance. Just being with a VPC, you cannot create it actually. So you need to have a subnet actually. So we understood that, like, yeah, when we are creating a VPC, we try to create we have to provide some kind of a CAD range for your VPC, right? And based on our requirement, we select some private class IP addresses, and then we choose it. So in yesterday's session, if you remember, like we had took class C, right? Class C IP address, and this is the diagram actually, if you remember. Right. So what I did basically, like I took one Mumbai region, right? AP F1, South F1. In that Mumbai region, we know that there are three availability zones are there. And while creating a VPC, I try to give a CAD range of 192.168.0.0/24. This is what we had given a CAD range actually, right? So I choose the class C IP address based on your requirement. As I said, right, if you want to connect more and more devices, you can go with the class B or class A IP address actually. So in our upcoming sessions, you will see that I'll be using class B IP address, class A IP address range, CAD range. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take those class A, class B, and class C all for my for creating the VPC actually. Okay, and yesterday we saw some challenges also because like after we choose this seed range, like we found a challenge in creating the subnet, right? Because what I did at the initial, I created a subnet, and whatever the seed range is there, right, the entire seed range I assigned to the subnet one actually. All. So if you calculate the seed range, right, you will be able to connect up to 256 devices, right? So now what I did when I try to create the subnet one, I try to give the same range. It means that I try to choose the entire shader range, and I just assign to the subnet one. So when I assign it, what happened, right? You were not able to create any other subnet. Suppose you want to create some more subnets, actually, you are not able to create a subnet because you don't have the IP address left. IP address left from your subnet or from your shared range. There are no available IPv4 address available. So hence what happened? You are not able to create a new subnet actually. Right. So we saw there are what are the other ways to do it actually, and finally we thought that okay, let us try to take this here range and try to divide this into two actually. It means that into two subnets actually. So basically, what we did with the help of some advanced subnet calculator, I choose to divide this whole IP address into two parts by that is subnetting. So the first one range we assigned to the subnet one, and the second one we provided to the subnet two. So I think till here we have did the lab exercise, right? Till here. Now today we have to continue from where we had left actually. Now here, so now according to the day 7 session, like what I said that while creating a VPC, these are the things which you have to consider it. So let me copy this and let me have in the date so that we will continue from here itself actually. Am I clear, sir? So till here, the third point, I created this. I created all the things. So if I want to see it, you can go back to your AWS account. So this is my AWS account. You could see that you are under the Mumbai region. Fine. Now I want to check the VPC. How you can go the VPC means basically you can go and you could see that these are the services. You click on the services and here you could see that all services. And if you just go with the view all services, click on this view all services and you could see that all the services with category you can able to see it. Now if you come down, can you see somewhere network and content delivery? This is the major thing which we are discussing. Under that we have something the VPC. So what I'll do, I'll try to open this VPC or this one under the different tab. And right, and yesterday we went to the VPC and inside the VPC you saw that I created one VPC. I call that as a my corp VPC, and this is the VPC ID will get created. So guys, for every resource, whatever you are creating under AWS, AWS is going to create some kind of an ID. Okay. In this case, when I created a my corp as a PC as a VPC, it created an ID actually. So this is the VPC ID we say. So whenever the AWS want to do any kind of a communication with this VPC, it always refer to this VPC ID, right? So this ID, right? And this is the naming actually. So this is something like a label what we have assigned. So if you go over here, you can change this label anytime. So it is for a human representation. We use this naming convention, right? But it means that we assign some kind of a name. But what happened, whenever AWS want to communicate with the VPC, it doesn't use this name. It instead uses ID actually. And I could see that it is available. It means that the VPC is available. And if you come here, you could see that actually that it has the is it a default VPC? It said no, right? It's not a default VPC. And if you come here, okay, you're getting some information. Okay, there is something, so two CDR there. Yes, we have two CDR, right? So this is a VPC, and the other one, what VPC is having a default VPC. So yesterday we discussed that whenever we have any regions, each and every region by default it will have some default VPC actually, right? Now one thing what we have to understand, guys, whenever a new VPC is created, by default, few of other resources are also created. So what are those resources? The first thing is that actually that whenever you create any new VPC, right, it's going to also create the security group also by default. We call it as SG. Okay. And whenever you create a new VPC, it also creates a route table, right? So it means that whenever we are creating a new VPC, route table also getting created, security group also is getting created, as well as NACL. Okay. Network access control list. So now whenever you create any VPC, if suppose you create 10 VPCs, assume that. So 10 security groups, 10 route table, and 10 NACLs will get created. So these three resources, what is getting created, it is related to that newly created VPC. So we are going to see soon now what are these three resources which have been created as part of VPC. Yesterday you saw that like I created this VPC by name my corp VPC. But while creating, I just created a VPC, I provided a shared range. But internally what happened, while VPC is getting created, it also created these three resources also. So what are these three resources? Very soon we are going to address this. Okay. Is it fine, sir? Okay. Now, so yesterday we created a VPC and we also give a CAD range. Perfect. We also give a subnet also. So if you go over here, under you could see that there's a subnet is there. Now, whenever you try to create a VPC, it has a VPC ID. You can go and click on this VPC ID. It will show you that this is a VPC ID, right? And you could copy this VPC ID if you want it. So let me copy it. Now, as I said, right, after creating VPC, the next step, what we did is a subnet actually. So if you remember, we created subnet 1 and subnet 2, like that, right? We created it. So how to verify it? You can go to the subnet section. There you could see that actually that I don't know which is the subnet for my VPC ID. Just copy this VPC ID and just enter. So you could see that What happened, man? I did copy it or not properly. Yeah, yeah. Copy it. Go to the subnet. Just paste it and enter. You could see that these are the two subnets got created, right? Under this VPC ID. And again, as I said, right, while creating a subnet, let me rename. I think it would. I will try to give an uppercase here. You can give any name, right? I'm just giving something like subnet one and subnet two. This is a naming convention I'm giving it actually, right? And if you come down, you could see that these two subnet are under that same VPC, right? And if you come this side, you could see that this is a shared array. So you could see that 192.168.0.25, that is what the range you are given to the subnet one. And if you come this side for the subnet 2, right? Subnet 2, it has given, subnet 2, it has given 192.168.0.128/25. So in this case, if you're giving this range IP address, you are going to get the IP address of 126 IP address you're going to give. Each will get 126 IP address. But 126 IP address, the first three IP address, you can ignore it actually. Because the first IP address is for the gateway, second IP address for the DNS, and third is used for its other purpose it uses actually AWS. So always when whatever the IP address you range you get, right, that IP address you have to always minus with the three IP address. So the first three IP addresses will not be used. Like for example, 192.168.0.0, this will not be used. 192.168, 192.168.0.1, 0.2, 0.3. These three IP addresses will be not be used. 192.168.0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. Yeah, those IP addresses would be used actually. Same thing here also. For the subnet 2 also, 192.168.0.128 is the right? That will not be used. 192.168.129, 130 will not be used. 192.168.0.131, 132, 133. Yeah, those will be used. Up to how much? Up to 254 actually. So 192.168.0.154 is the last, 254 is the last IP address that can be used in this subnet actually. Am I clear, sir? So it means that under this subnet, you can connect 123 devices. Under this subnet, you can create 123 devices. And while creating the subnet, you remember that I created this subnet 1 under your AP-South FN1A. And under the subnet 2, you created this AP-South FN1B. Now the question comes, Rajesh, according to the diagram, it means that you created the subnet under the APFN South FN1A availability zone and APFN South FN1B and availability. So here you created the subnet 2. Okay. What about one more availability zone is there? Can I create one more subnet here? Guys, you cannot create it. You cannot create it because that we are not left with any of the available IP address. So we cannot further do any kind of a subnetting with this CID range because we did a subnetting, we equally divided among these two actually. That's what the third subnet can't be created. Suppose assume you say that Rajesh, I want to still do a subnet. You can still further do it, but what happened, right? You need to calculate it. For example, this is the CID range 192.168.0.24 is there. So this is your CID range. Here, what happened? While creating a subnet, you can just say 192.160.0.0 slash I think 26 or 27 you have to give it. So 192.168.0.0 slash not 0 1.0 slash 20 like 28. So I think you need to further do a subnetting to make use of this entire range of shader to create three subnets actually. But in this case, what happened, right? I just created only two subnets. So is it sufficient for me with the two subnets? It depends upon your requirement. You say that Rajesh, I want to only build two-tier architecture. Yeah, two subnet is sufficient, right? And you say that okay, no, I want to build a three-tier architecture where I need to have some three different types of servers. Like one is a web server, and other is an app server, and other is a DB server. So in that case, I need three-tier architecture. Then it means that actually you need to redesign again. It means that you need to, if you're considering the same CID range, then you need to create three subnets out of this CID range. So in that case, what happened, right? You have to create subnet 1, subnet 2, and subnet 3. So how to create it? Again, you need to go with your advanced subnetting online tool. There you go and you check it out. Like you have to say that, okay, I need three subnets I need. Then it will appropriately calculate and it will show you. So when it is creating three subnets, you know that each and every subnet will get a less IPs actually, right? Because what are the range you are having? It's very small actually. So whether is this the perfect way of doing it? Not really, guys, because we in the industry, when we are working on a real-time project, like we try to go with some bigger network where like you can create as many subnets you want it actually, right? So in this what happened, right, we not be able to create a very good, very big subnets. We are not able to create it because we have chosen a very small shader range actually. But just for our practical purpose, we are choosing it. Later, when I am creating many other VPCs and all right, I will go with some bigger range. So I might go under the class B or class A IP address shader. I'll go so that I can create many subnet as I need actually. Am I clear, sir? Till here? So till here, are you okay? Any questions?
No, Rajesh, sir.
Rajesh,
Rajesh.
Yeah, sorry, somebody asking something?
Yeah, you can tell me that IPs like 123 out of 123, first 0.0 is not considered, and
Hmm.
0.1, 0.2, 0.3.
Hmm. Yeah.
And last IP, what is that one? Before 127 also we will use with 192.168.0.127.
Here, yeah. 127 will not be used, sir. Okay, once 127 will not be used, that will be considered like a, you can consider as a broadcast actually.
Broadcast. Okay.
So here what happened, again what happened, the second subnet will start with 100.0.128. This will also not be used actually. Okay, 129 will not be used, 130 will not be used, 131 will use it. 131 up to 254 will be used because again 255 you
Okay.
cannot use it because it's for
Broadcast.
a broadcast. Yeah. Like this you can like you can think, like you can consider it actually. So now the question comes, okay, Rajesh, now I have a subnets now. Very good. I have a VPC now. Can I go and create the virtual machine? Yeah, now you can go and create it actually. Right. Now the thing is that like how to create a virtual machine actually. So what you can do that you can go here. Let me go to the console. Okay, we will soon visit this guys because like I have to talk about the internet gateway route tables and all and route table association, which I have to cover now. But anyhow, let's see that. Let us try to create a virtual machines now under these two subnets, right? So for that, like I am under the Mumbai region. Okay, I'll go to the EC2 instance. This is the EC2 service, which we have a separate dedicated topic for EC2 itself. We will cover that also later. But right now, just try to think that whenever you want to create a virtual machine, you have to go with the EC2 service. And under the EC2 service, you can go to the instances. And here you could see that actually you can go with the launch instance. So this is one, you have to just click on this. So as soon as you click on it, uh, you can start giving the, here what happens as soon as you launch it, as soon as you click on the instance, launch instance, you could see that it asks you for you to give the name actually or the tag. I can give any name. I'll give something like server one. Come down, you see that you are having so many EMI or the OS image IDs actually. So in our entire AWS guys, entire AWS course, most of the time I will be using either Amazon Linux or Ubuntu. These are the two ISO image or the AMI image I'll be using for doing any kind of a practicals. Windows also I will choose it. It depends upon my requirement. Suppose, for example, I want to show you some service related to the Windows. So for example, Active Directory service I want to show you, right? Or something like I want to install and show you the IIS server, like. So in that case, what happened? I have to choose with the Windows image, and then like I have to go with that actually. But since like these two Linux flavors are there, right? Most of our things, whatever we want to learn in AWS, we can do all the things with the help of a Linux server itself actually. So I'll be going with Amazon Linux or Ubuntu. You can choose anything. Sometime I will go with Amazon. Sometime I go with the Ubuntu. Okay, there's nothing like that. You can choose any one of the things to do your practicals actually, right? So here you are given the tag name or the name, and then like I will click on the Amazon Linux. Come down here, try to take the recent EMI image, whatever it's saying. It's saying that Amazon Linux 2023, kernel 6.1. This is the EMI image. It is choosing it. So you can just highlight it like this. There are many other older one, but you are not going with it. Let us go with the existing one only. So this is the latest one which is showing it. Don't worry, you can choose this itself actually. Okay, even you can choose with the older one also. It doesn't really matter. right? Now, if you come down here, it is showing you the instance types actually. Okay, guys, now what has happened, right? Since AWS has did a lot of changes in their freebie plans and all, so it is now chargeable everything. But as you know that they will give you $100 dollar credit as they'll give you. You have to use this $100 for utilizing all the things whatever you are doing a lab exercise. So that $100 whatever they give, right, that will be it will be available for next 6 months. So within 6 months you need to use that entire 100 credit, actually $100 credit. Some people have even got 200 credit because they have requested with some forum to provide more credits for them. So Amazon has given for them. Many are there in our group also who have got the $200 credit. Okay, that is good. If you get the $200, you can practice many things. But okay, $100, whatever you got it, still you can practice it. Okay, after some time, if that $100 credit, if it gets exhausted, later all other labs, guys, you can still do it. You can continue to do it, but your plan will get changed. You have to switch to pay as you go. So in that case, what happened, right? Like whatever the services are there, right, it will be chargeable actually. And like whatever the course which we are taking, guys, if you practice in your AWS account under the subscription of pay as you go, still I would say that actually your bill will not come more than 500 or maximum 600 rupees per month. And paying 500 or 600 rupees is not a big thing, right? We can pay that money to the Amazon, right? Or else if you can't give it, it means I can't give you, I can't pay that much money also means, then go and create a new account actually and then start practicing it. But for the new account, you need to have a new credit or debit card and with the new email ID, right? And also obviously even the phone number also, if you have some other phone number also, right? That also is required for you to create a new account actually. So it's left to you. How do you do it? But whatever we have been covering in AWS, right? You need to do all the lab access, guys. That is very much required actually. Okay. Now, okay, fine. Now come here. So I'm choosing it here. Now, if you come down here, can you see that it is asking you to provide the key pair? So what to do, Rajesh? Whether I should go with the key pair with the existing one or shall I create a new key pair? You can go with the new key pair also. So you can just go and click on the new key pair. Right here, it is said that you have to give the key pair. Okay, like let me give some key pair. Something I'll give something like a laptop key. Something I'll give. Okay, and I will choose the key pair type as RSA. You can even go with the ED25591, but let me go the RSA itself, and I will try to choose the .pem as a format actually, right? And it is a private key format at screen. Now, when you're trying to do a key pair, basically, so we know that in AWS, we know that this is AWS. You know that AWS actually what happened, right? Whenever AWS you are creating a virtual machine, okay, you can able to access the virtual machine with the help of the username and the key actually. So that's the only way where you can access that server. It means that if you want to log into the server, you need to have a username and the key, right? Whereas in Azure, Azure provides both. It will provide the username and the key and key, and also you can even create a virtual machine with the help of a username and the password. Both options are provided in case of your Azure, whereas in case of AWS, you can only able to access that virtual machine with the help of a username and the key. And how we are going to generate the key? Key is generated by known as a key pair. So whatever we did right now, right, we are trying to create. See, this is an option. Okay. Or else what you can do that you can go to the instances. If you go to the instances, if you come down, can you see there's something like a key pair is there under network and security service? Under that, there's a key pair. Yeah, you can click on this. Right here, you can go and create the key pair. Click the create key pair. Right, something I'll give something like a laptop key. Something I can give any name. Right, and I can choose RSA and I have to select PIM. Okay, and I have to just say create. Now, as soon as you click on this create key pair, so what AWS will do that AWS is going to create a key pair. Right. So now what will do that AWS will create a key pair. What key pair it's going to create? It's going to create a public key and private key. Two key it's going to create actually. So public key, AWS intern maintains it actually. It means that it will keep the public key to itself actually. Okay. So private key it will provide to you. Private key will be will be provided to us actually. Now, if you see that as soon as I create a key, guys, if you go to my download folder, can you see here that I got this private PEM key? I got this PEM key actually. Fine. So private key got downloaded. Where it got downloaded? It got downloaded to a download folder. If I go here and if I go here, if you search for your see laptop key.pem, right? This got created actually. So by default, what happened, right? This PEM file will get downloaded as soon as you create a key pair. Right? So what is this, Rajesh? This is a private or public, right? Whatever you got it. This is the private key. Okay, what about the public key? Public key will be used or will be kept by the AWS itself. They only going to keep that public key. Right. So it means that Rajesh, as soon as I create the key pair, whether every time in creating a new pair, is the AWS going to generate the public key and the private key for that? Yes, sir. It always generates the public key and private key. Private key will be given to us, and public key it's going to keep it within it actually. Okay, so it means that now I can able to log in with any of the server or any of the server. If you are attaching this key pair to that server, it means that you can use this private key to log in it actually. So now what happened? Assume that I'm creating one virtual machine, VM virtual machine, and I am trying to assign the key for this. What is that key name? Laptop.pem. Laptop key.pem. If this is the key which I'm attaching or assigning to this virtual machine while creating it, it means that Rajesh, I can log in inside this machine with the help of this key actually. Okay, so how do you log in actually? Basically what happened, right? You need to give a command SSH with the -i means key, provide that laptop key.pem. This is the file you have to provide. You have to provide SSH-i, small I, not capital I. SSH-i, provide the laptop key.pem, or that is provide the private key. And because it is an Amazon Linux which you are creating, by default username is nothing but EC2-user @ and give the public IP. This is how you provide the SSH command to log into the server. So whenever you are executing this command under some terminal or under some command line or under some terminal, you are actually you're going to execute this command. So what happened with the help of this key? What happened, right? You can do an SSH to this server actually. So am I clear, sir, till here? Any doubts you have, guys?
No.
Okay. Now the thing is that if you come here, right, I already created a key. Okay, fine. I will go back again back to my instances because I want to create a virtual machines, right? So I have to go and click on the launch instances. Again, the same thing. I will go here and I will try to give something like a server one. So I'm creating my first instance. Okay, come down. I will choose the Amazon Linux. Yes. And the AMI image, let it be as it is, the latest one. Come down. Instance type, you can choose anything. Okay, let me do a scroll down and let me check. Okay, if there is any T2.micro. Yeah, T2.micro is there. See that, guys. If you see T3.micro, it is 2 virtual CPU with 1 GB of RAM memory. Okay. How much it is costing you? Like if you are choosing the Amazon Linux, it will cost you something like $0.0112 per hour. Okay, right? And for your Ubuntu, we're selecting $0.014, right? And for Windows, it is 0.02. So you are getting 2 virtual CPU with 1 GB of RAM memory. So this is something the pricing tag. This is the pricing which will be provided for you to select the T3.micro. If you go with some other instance type like T2.micro, can you see here? It is 1 virtual CPU with 1 GB RAM memory, and you could see that the pricing is little less compared to your T3.micro. So I can go with this T2 because I can launch my Linux and I can comfortably work even with 1 virtual CPU and even with 1 GB of RAM memory. So I don't want really 2 virtual CPU. It's okay, it works out, no problem, it is okay. But I'm just saying, if you want to still save the money, you can go with the T2.micro because you are going with a very less configuration, right? You are not really installing any fancy softwares or you're not really building your real-time application just for experiment purpose. Hence, we will go with the lower one actually. So I'll go with the T2.micro. So T2.micro is one. So most of the time, guys, whatever we do, right, we will be working with Amazon Linux or Ubuntu and we'll be using the instance type as T2.micro. Don't use any other instance type unless and until I tell in the class. I might tell in the class that, okay, guys, for certain things like go with the T2.medium, T2.large or T2.x large. When I say that, at that time only you have to choose the server instance type and you have to do your lab access. Otherwise, 90%, 99%, most of the lab access, you will be able to complete everything under the T2.micro itself. So that your bill will be almost zero for few months, and for few other months when you are continuing your practice, you might get a bill of 500 or 600 rupees. That's all, not more than that. Am I clear, sir? Okay, good. So now what I'll do that I have chosen the T2.micro. This is sufficient for my requirement. Okay, come down. So keypair I already created, right? That laptop key. Let me select that one itself. Okay, let me create that laptop key. Yeah, because I have created the key, right? Either you can go to that go to the menu and create it, or else you can click here itself and create it actually. Okay, now come down here. You could see that actually you have to go and click on the edit. And now you could see that actually this is a default VPC. I don't want to really create under this. I want to create under your my corp VPC. This is my newly created VPC I want to create. Okay. Now again here what happened, you are having two subnets, subnet 1 and subnet 2. Where you want to create? Let me create my first server in subnet 1. Click on the subnet 1. Okay, fine. Now the thing is that guys actually, right, it has created. Now the thing is that it is asking you to provide some kind of a security group actually, right? So here what happened, right? You can actually create a security groups and you can assign it. Okay. Or else what happened, right? As I said earlier, right, Rajesh, if you're having your own security group, can I assign the security group for this? Yes, sir, you can set it up. But you mentioned that while creating a VPC, VPC itself created the security group. Yeah, it created a security group. A default security group which got created when you created a new VPC. Can I use that security group also? Yes, sir, you can use that security group also. Right. Or else, should I want to create a separate security group and assign that security group while creating a virtual machine? Yeah, you can even do that also. So, which is the feasible one? Yeah. Something like, for example, guys, like when VPC is getting created, VPC is going to create a default security group. Yeah. We need to identify which is the default security group which got created by the VPC. You can go to the security group and change your rules and all according to a requirement. According to requirement, go and change all the rules under the security groups which are being created by the VPC. That's the first option. Or else you say that no, I don't want to touch anything that security groups which was created defaultly by VPC. I want to create my own security group, set all the rules, attach that the newly created security group to your virtual machine while creating. You can attach it. Yeah, you can even do that way also. So don't worry now, guys. What you have to understand is that actually that we have to have a security group attached when we are launching a virtual machine. It requires a security group information also, because in security group you are setting up all the firewall rules, right? Or else you are assigning or you are setting up the inbound rule and outbound rule. So security groups, as of now, don't worry, just to check, see what I'm doing, just to try to go through what I'm doing, because we have a dedicated topic only to understand what is security group. So in our upcoming sessions in 1 or 2 days, I have to start covering the security group also. Okay, so it means that come back here, Rajesh, you will say that, Rajesh, shall I go with the create the new security groups? I don't want to really go with the new security group. Let me go with the existing only. If there are some existing security groups, I'll go with that. So let me click on here, come here, highlight it. There is some default security groups it is showing actually. Okay, so do you want to really want this, or else I can go with some other one? Guys, you can go with other one also. So let me go with the default one only, or else what I can do that, you can go here, click on the security groups, come over here. You can just say something like what happened, like something anything like first security group, like that you can say okay, first security group, give the description as it is. So whatever the inbound security groups are created, is it fine for this? Yeah, this is fine for me. Okay. Okay, and advanced network security group, there is nothing to be done. Okay, so this much is sufficient for us for our requirement, right? So I have chosen the my corp VPC and the subnet one, and here what happened, right? Can you see here, guys? Auto assign public IP disable. So it means that, Rajesh, while selecting the subnet one, it is actually taking me to something like a auto assign public disable. It means that if you are creating with this option, an IP address for your server, for your instance or for your server will not be created. It means that public IP address will not be assigned. Okay, but Rajesh, I want the public IP, right? So you have to go and you have to enable it actually. But you will ask me, Rajesh, all these days, right? When I was creating virtual machine, I was not at all selecting this. It was always enable only, right? So how it was already default enable? Yes, sir. Always will be enabled because you have to do some kind of a settings in the configuration to make it always enable. How to do that? Let me do that setting when I'm launching the server 2. Okay. Right now in the server for the server 1, what I'm trying to do that I am trying to go and I'm going to enable it manually. Suppose is that always it should be enabled only always. Then you have to go and do the changes in the subnet. You have to go and do the changes actually. Okay, let me do that. Let me make it enable. Okay, fine. Oh, let me create a new circuit group which is first SJ1. Okay, come down here. Is there anything other things which I need to set? Nothing, sir. And one instance, right? Yeah, go and launch the instance. Okay, launch instance. Go to the view all instance. Right now, what happened? Let me launch one more instance because I need to create the server 2 with the other subnet, right? Which I created. Yeah, right. So launch instance. Go here, I will give the name as something like server 2. Come down here, I'll choose Amazon Linux itself. I will go with the same image. Come down here, I will go with the T2.micro. This is sufficient for my requirement. Key pair, let me give the key pair as laptop key. Yes. Now here what happened, you need to go and click on this edit, right? You need to select your mic or VPC. This is what the newly created VPC which you have to select. And you are saying that Rajesh, let me create the second server in the subnet too. Yeah. And now what happened? You could see that it is saying as auto assign disable itself. Now, as I said right earlier, right, like this is the configuration. Because of the configuration, it is always shown. How do you check it out? How do you make sure that this works properly? It means that when I'm creating the server with the subnet to automatically it should be enabled. How to do that? If you go to the subnets, you could see that this is the two subnets actually, right? If you click on the subnet 2, right? If you go to the actions, can you see here? Edit subnet setting. Yeah, click on this. Can you see here? Enable auto assign public IP address. Yeah, if you're choosing the subnet 2, it should always enable. See, if you have to click on it, come here down and save it actually. So Rajesh, can I do the same thing for the subnet 1 also? Yes, sir, you can do the for subnet also. So go to the subnet 1, go to the actions, go to the edit subnetting settings, click on it. Here you could say it is not enabled. I mean, this box is not checked. You have to check and then you have to come and you have to set it. Right now, if you go here, right now, if you go here, right, and if you try to refresh this page, if you refresh the page, everything will go off. Now, if you come down, right, and if you go to the edit networking, can you see now it is enabled? Right. So it means that or else select this one. So can you see now it's enabled? Right. Now what I'll do that I will go here. I'll just say server 2. So guys, I think you are understanding, right? Server 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazon Linux. Amazon Linux. I mean, sorry, AMI ID. You have to select the latest one, what is available. Select with the T2.micro. Come here. Select the key. Laptop key, come here, select the mic or VPC, select the subnet to yes, enable, yes. Rajesh, do I have to enable? Means by default it is enabled now because I've already changed the configuration right under the subnet. I changed it, yeah. Now what happened? It is asking you whether you want to create any new kind of circuit group or else you have to use some existing one. So recently, like when I am creating a server one, I created one circuit group, right? I will go with that actually. Select that, go here and just choose this first secret group one, right? Rest other things, do you have to do any changes? Nothing, sir. Go and launch the instance. Am I clear, sir? So now if you come here, now you could see that guys, you have launched a two instance. So let me go with the instance. I want to filter, right? Instance state is equal to running. So I want only those two instances which are running. So these are the two servers which are running, server 1 and server 2. Right now, shall we log into this server and check whether I'm able to log in or not? Yeah. So what I will do, guys, I will go here and I'll open the terminal. This is my Windows terminal. Good. Right. Open it. And because that laptop key, right, PEM, that got downloaded to the download folders. Let me go to the download folders. And now I want to log into this machine. So to log into this machine, let me choose the server one. right? And I need to copy the public IP. Okay. Now, if you come here, you could see that actually that you are giving a public IP address, right? Right. But it is not giving you the private DNS resource name and all. Right. Why it is not giving? We will see now. Okay. We'll see. Right. Because what happened, guys, when you are creating a VPC, when you're creating a VPC, suppose if you go to the VPC, if you're going with the VPC, click on this VPC, you have to go with the action. Okay, edit VPC settings. Here you have to enable the DNS resolution and enable the DNS host name. You need to choose both this option. This we didn't do it yesterday. Okay, and go and save it. I'm a guesser. Whenever you are creating any new VPC, you have to always do this extra thing. Go to the actions, go to your edit VPC settings, and go that check both these boxes actually, DNS setting, and then save it. Clear, sir? This I didn't do. This I didn't told yesterday. I mean I missed it. But okay, that's fine. Now what happened? Let me create some more VPC and all. Then I will do all these things actually. Am I clear, sir? So now, okay, come down here. Okay, good. Now let me log into the servers and let's see whether I'll be able to log in or not actually. So what I'll do, I'll just ssh-i laptop key.pem. Okay, because this is the Ubuntu, sorry, not Ubuntu, Amazon Linux. So by default, the Amazon Linux, the user name is ec2-user at the rate, give the public IP address of your server one. And let's see whether I'm able to log in or not. Now, if you say enter, you could see that I'm not able to log in. Great, guys. Now, what is the problem? Why are you not able to log in it? Let me open one more terminal. Let it go. Okay, I'll go with the download folder. I'll say ssh-i, okay, laptop key.pem, ec2-user, at the rate, give the public IP address of the server 2. Let me click on the server 2 and then go with the public IP and go and give the public IP here and just enter. So here also you're not able to log in. But what's the problem? We could see that you got a timeout error, right? Connection timeout error. It means that you're not able to log in it. Okay. Now, Rajesh. Yeah. Yes, sir. Somebody is asking something.
Will not allowed at that port number.
Everything is done, no? What is that? Now, as per our requirement, everything is done, no? We have set up the security groups and all right. But what is the problem? So guys, the thing is that actually that we created our VPC, fine, okay. We want to connect to the server from the outside. It means that you are sending the traffic from the outside. Now, whenever you want to send a traffic to the outside, how it reaches to the server? How it reaches to the server? Because you are sitting from the outside and I'm just doing SSH. Okay, when you want to send it, when you want to send a traffic to the server which is inside your AWS, it means that there has to be an internet gateway. It is something like you have your house. I have a house, everything. Now, without my router, how I can connect, how I can communicate to the outside world? Or how the outside person or outside world can connect to me, how they can communicate with me. Without the router, they cannot connect, right? The same case here it has happened. We have created server, security group is there, but what about the router? What about the internet gateway? There's no internet gateway at all. So you have to create an internet gateway and attach the internet gateway to the VPC. Okay. So it means that Rajesh, now the next is that actually according to the nodes, you have created all these things, even you launch instance, right? Here is something we have to create the internet gateway. Okay. Internet gateway is not there. That's the reason what happened. You are not able to communicate, right? You are not able to connect from the outside to SSH. By using SSH, you are not able to connect to the server. Yes, sir. That's how it is actually. Right. So for that, what you have to do that? You have to go here. You have to go to your VPC dashboard. And if you come down, can you see internet gateway is there? Yeah. There are many other gateways are there. NAT gateways there, internet gateway, ingress online only internet gateways there. If you come down, there is something like a transit gateway is also there, resource gateway is also there, transit gateway is also there. Come down, you will get transit gateways. There are multiple different types of gateways are there. We are going to discuss all these gateways in our upcoming session, right? But right now, what you have to understand that Rajesh, whenever I want to send a traffic from the outside world to the inside AWS server, or else from the inside AWS, you want to send a traffic to outside, you need to have an internet gateway. Without internet gateway, you cannot do any kind of a communication. Okay. So it means that I do have to really create an internet gateway and attach it. Yes, sir. You have to create and attach it. How to do that? Just click on the internet gateway. Internet gateway. You could see that there's already some other gateways there. This could be a default gateway. Yes, I'm not really worried about. I want to create a new gateway. Yes. Click on create internet gateway. Here it is asking you to give a gateway, right? You can give any gateway like for example, my, what is that? My Corp PPC gateway, IGW, internet gateway. I'll give this name, right? Because this is my VPC, right? Where is my VPC? Uh, this is my VPC, right? What is the VPC name? My Corp VPC, right? Right. My Corp VPC. This is the VPC with the same name with a hyphen IGW, internet gateway. I'm just giving a name. That's a tag, that's all. Okay. And this is a key I'm getting. Sorry, this is a tag name I'm getting. I'll just go and create the internet gateway. So if you create internet gateway, see, you could see that actually this is an internet gateway ID, but it is showing the state as a detached. Or it means that it is not yet still attached to any VPC. Can you see here? It is not attached to any VPC. How do you attach it? You have to go to the action, attach to the VPC. So click on this and here come down, which is the VPC, Raj? My car VPC, which is I created, right? Select this and attach it. Now you could see that actually now it shows as a green, it means that it is attached to the VPC. Now, Rajesh, now it is attached. Shall I go and try to do it? Yeah, let us try to go and execute the same command. See, and let us try to go and execute the same command. Still, you are not able to connect it. Now, what is the reason? Why you are not able to connect it? So, guys, now what has happened right here? Here, what has happened? Uh, right, still it is not able to create it because what happened, right? You have not, see, you have not told your machine like how to reach to the internet gateway. Like for example here, according to this, right? Now if I want to show the diagram now, diagram format, right, let me open a diagram now. Okay, so now what happened, right? You will say that Rajesh, this is my Mumbai region. Good, very good. This is my Mumbai region, right? Where I created this VPC. What is that? My Mumbai region is AP-South-1, right? Okay, let me make it as a bold actually. Yeah, this is my Mumbai region actually, right? Insert this Mumbai region. What you did, guys, you try to create a VPC here, right? So what is the VPC name you gave? You gave the VPC name as, what is that? My Corp VPC. And what is the CAD range you gave, guys? 192.168.0.0/24. Good. After that, what you created two subnets actually like this. This is one subnet like this, and this is one subnet. Right? You created these two subnets. Right? And you gave the name for the subnet as subnet 1 and subnet 2. Right? For the subnet, right, what is an IP range you are given? It is 192.168.0.0/25. Right? Here what you give? 192.168.0. What is it? 128/25. Am I clear, sir? This is the subnetting you did it. Am I clear, sir? Now here what happened, right? You created a virtual machine like this here. Let me to choose something here. Yeah, this is the virtual machine. I'm just let me take some color, actually brown color. This is a virtual machine you created like this. Correct, sir? So the virtual machine is not, but here you have created the EC2 machine. And what is the name you give? Here I gave something like a server 1, right? And here you gave as a server 2, something. right? So guys, now what you have to understand very clearly, guys, you have to understand one thing very clearly, that this subnet one I created under the AP-South-1A, right? That availability zone. This subnet I try to create under AP-South-1B. By default, what happened, guys? You know that in AP-South-1 there are three availability zones are there, right? Yeah. And you also know that actually in Northern Virginia region, you have six availability zone, right? Most of these regions, all the regions, the maximum number of availability zone, what you see is six only, maximum. That is Northern Virginia region, right? And the least what you will see in the region is nothing but the three availability zone. Like in case of Mumbai, it is APF and South FN1. You will find three availability zone. Like that, there are many other availability zones are there. There are only many other regions are there. There are only three availability zones are there, right? Minimum three, maximum six. That is what you have to consider it actually. But one thing you have to clearly understand, that all these availability zones, what are the availability zones are there, like APF and South 1A, 1B and 1C, they are connected with the dedicated network line actually. They are connected with the dedicated network line like this. So internally what happened, right? What the Amazon will do, that they will have a dedicated internet line like this actually, with the fast latency, right? So each and every availability zone, right? They will be connected internally by this dedicated network line actually, like this. So what you said that Rajesh, whenever I want to communicate between these two subnets, right? Or between these two availability zone, where within the availability zone, you have created some subnet. Can I able to ping from this machine to this machine? Yes, sir. You can ping it like this. You can able to ping it. You can able to communicate like this with the same line. So this is what we call it as a local communication, or we call it as a local route, always. So for Rajesh, for this to communicate internally, do I need any kind of a gateway or need any router? Nothing, sir. It is locally they have connected this wire, right? Within one availability zone to other availability zone, right? You need not to have anything. By default, what happen? It will be configured in the locally. You can able to communicate it. So Rajesh, if I am having the third subnet where I have created one more, there is a third availability zone, where in the third availability zone, that is APF and South F and 1C, okay, where I have created one subnet, and then like I have created a virtual machine. Can I able to communicate from the server 1 to server 3 and server 3 to server 1, or server 2 to server 3 and server 2? Yeah, you can communicate, sir, because even there also you are having the same local route. But make sure that all the subnets, whatever you are creating under all the three of the zone, it should be under the same VPC. If it is under the same VPC, then only these three servers, which are under three different subnets, will be able to ping each other locally. Am I clear on this, sir? Till here? Sir? Do you have any questions, guys? This is all basics I'm saying, very, very basics. But you need to understand from here itself everything. Right? Now, the thing is that now if you try to understand it, if you go back to the EC2 instance, now you say that Rajesh server 1, this is the public IP. Yes, copy the public IP. I will try to copy this in a diagram. Here you could see that PIP means public IP for this is this one. Okay. And for the private IP, I think for private, I will give as a private IP. What's the private IP, guys? The private IP for this is the private IP. Similarly, for this server, the public IP is what? For the virtual machine 2 is this one. Come here. Okay. Rajesh, what about the private IP? Yeah. Now, what you can make out from this here, that Rajesh, when you are creating a public IP address will be assigned. Who will assign? Your AWS will assign the public IP, because while creating the virtual machine, you gave an option of enable the public IP. It means that while I'm launching an instance, I need to have a public IP. Yes, sir, you need to have public IP. Yes. It means that this EC2 instance, it needs a public IP. Okay. So Rajesh, is it public IP is required or not? whenever you're creating EC2. It's depend upon your requirement. If you say that, Rajesh, I want to communicate my mission to the outside world, I need a public IP. If you say that I don't want a public IP at all, then you can discard the public IP. It means that you don't want the public IP. In which case you say that I don't want the public IP. Okay. Suppose assume that you are creating, suppose assume that this is a two-tier architecture and this is considered as a web server. Okay. I'm just saying, I make this server as a web server. Okay. Because web server will always connect to the outside world, because whenever a user, an external user want to connect to your application, so he will always directly connect to your web server, right? So it means that your web server should be exposed to the outside world. It means that it should have an IP address. But assume that this server, it's a database server, DB server, where all your important data tables, everything you're maintaining it actually, right? You cannot expose your EC2 install where the DB server is configured. You cannot expose the outside world, right? So in that case, what happened? You should don't give any kind of a public IP to this server actually. So now what happened, guys? There is some other thing is there which you have to learn. Is one is a private IP and the public IP. Right. So whenever we are designing an architecture like this, actually, we need to make sure that we need to create the private IP subnet and the public IP subnet. You have to create subnets. You have to create it actually like that. Right. So that is the thing. So if you ask me, Raji, is this a perfect design? What you're doing it? No, no, sir. This is not perfect. Okay, it's not perfect. Is it a real time what you're designing? No, it is not even real time, because there are so many things are there which are not considered. Now, just for our understanding, I've just took as example. Tomorrow, when I am creating a new VPC, I'm setting up everything, I will consider all these points, whatever I'm saying so far. So in that case, what happened? I need to create a private subnet and public subnet. I have to create it. Private subnet should be given for those servers. It doesn't need any kind of a public IP, right? Like database, something like that, where you want to make it secure. Okay, or else like app server where you want to make it secure. It means that those application server or the database servers, they shouldn't be exposed to outside world. Okay, fine. But whereas I want to give up IPs, private public IP to the web servers, right? Here it will be one web server. So assume that I'm having 100 web servers. For all the 100 web servers, I need a public IP to be assigned to it while creating it. Yeah. Then I can create a separate subnet known as a public subnet, and I can create all the servers under the public subnet. I can assign the public subnet so that by default, all the machines which are under the public subnet will get the IP address, public IP. So it means that I need to have two different subnets I want to create. Actually, one is a public and a private. That we are going to see it in tomorrow session. Don't worry, right? As of now, like we are just trying to create a very basic way of understanding like how you can create a VPC, how to create a subnet, all those things. There are many other things other which we are going to soon understand. Am I clear, sir? Till here, sir? Now the question comes, Rajesh, this is fine, all this is fine. Now, if anyone want to connect to the inside, anyone want to connect to these servers actually, they cannot simply connect. So suppose somebody is sitting outside here, a user is sitting outside. He want to connect to these two machines actually. How we can connect? He can connect with the help of an internet gateway. So like that way, right? Here, go here. I'll just say AWS internet gateway. Yeah, something. Okay, yeah, this is what the symbol for internet gateway. So you'll say that Rajesh, I need to have internet. So internet gateway is always attached to your VPC. So it means that with the help of an internet gateway like this, internet gateway, you can send a traffic from the outside to the inside. You can send a traffic, and from the inside to the outside, you can send a traffic to the internet gateway. But even after internet gateway, still you cannot still you're not able to log in, right? Like you could see that you're not able to log in it. You're not able to connect to it. So what is the reason of not connecting it actually? So the simple reason is that actually, guys, if you see the points, whatever I showed here, you could see that you need to have a route table. You need to have a route table, and you have to even do a route table association. So this is the fifth point. It means that along with the internet gateway, you need to even configure the route table. Route tables are nothing but you are trying to mention the route table rules actually, right? Rules. It means that like, for example, like how I can send the traffic to the outside world. right? Say for example, guys, you know that actually that whenever you want to go from one place to other place, usually what happened that in today's time we follow the Google Map, right? We just on the Google Map in your mobile, and you just plug in somewhere, and then like you can just see that map and you can reach to a destination. Similarly here what happened, right? Whenever you want to have this machine, whenever this machine want to connect to the outside world, right? Suppose this machine want to ping to the google.com, how it can send a traffic to the server which is outside the network actually. It means that it needs some kind of a routing table. So routing table have to be configured so that this machine will know that okay, how I have to send a traffic so that I can reach to the google.com, right? Similarly, from inside it, from the outside, suppose somebody want to send any kind of a packet or anything to the server one, it should understand, okay, so whatever the packet which is coming, it is for me, right? So how it understand actually with the help of a route table. Without a route table, you cannot do anything. Even though you have internet gateway, but still route table have to be configured actually, right? So here what happened, Rajesh, you say that, Rajesh, there's something like a route table to need to be configured here. This is the route table actually. This is a route table. So here what happened, in the route table, you need to define the rule like this. You have to define a rule like this. Okay. And this route table will be attached to both these subnets actually. Like this and like this. This is your route table. And of course, you need to write a rule of route table, and then like you need to do a subnet association, so that what happened, right? Now what happened, it checks it. Now the thing is that when these two servers, they want to connect each other or they want to communicate each other, they use a local route actually. So even the local route is also mentioned in your route table here itself. Like this, local route is mentioned. Oh, it means that Rajesh, when these two servers, they want to ping each other, how they do means, oh, they know that, okay, through a local route actually, which is already mentioned in the route table, oh, I can able to communicate to from this machine to this machine. Like that, they have mentioned the rule. But apart from the local route, suppose I want to send any other packet apart from that actually, then again what happened, you have to set the rule here actually. So what are the rule which are set, right? Through that rule, it can able to send the traffic to your AWS internet gateway. Through the internet gateway, it sends a traffic to the outside world. Right? Now, come here. If you go back here, you could see that actually there is something, the route table is there. Yeah, click on this route table. Now you could see that, guys, actually there are two route tables are there. Don't worry. One is a default route table and others a route table which got created while creating a VPC. So when you just click on this, you know that this is my VPC. So this is a VPC ID. Try to copy this VPC ID, or here you can just click on here, copy to VPC ID, come to the route table, and here go and you just try to search for this VPC. You could say this is the default route table. It means that this is the default route table which got created while creating a VPC. Okay. Now, if you go and click on to it actually, here you could see that actually that you could see that it is maintaining a routes here, right? And you could see that actually, okay. So there are two subnets are there. Okay. One is for 192.168.0.24 and one is 192.168.1.0.24. Okay. These are two subnets are there. For it to communicate, it uses the local. It means that these two servers, according to diagram, they can communicate each other because they are doing a local routes actually. It means that using local routes they are doing it. That's what it could see that they are showing active. But what happened, whenever it want to send a packet to the outside world, apart from this network, any other network it want to send an outside, okay, there is no rule written. That's what would happen. You are not able to connect to these servers actually. So hence you need to edit this route table. Right, sir? So how to do edit? You have to go and click on the edit routes. Come here. You could say local it is doing. Okay, fine, Rajesh. Let me do one thing. Let me try to add a route. Okay. Now, what is apart from this IP addresses 192.1.0 or 192.0.0.024, any other IP address, like for example, 0.0.0.0/0, any other IP address, apart from this, any other IP address, what should be the target? The target should be the internet gateway. Click on here. You could see there is some internet gateway. Yeah, click on it. What is an internet gateway? What you have? Oh, this is the migrate an internet gateway, right? My car VPC. Yeah, this is what you have to select and you have to do a save changes. Now you could see that actually, you could see that 0.0.0/0, you could see that the target. So according to diagram, if it is not this IP address under this range, if it's some other IP address, then just send that traffic to your internet gateway. And through the internet gateway, it goes to the outside world. Similarly, whenever anyone want to connect now, they will through internet, they'll connect, they'll come to the internet gateway. They know that, okay, Rajesh, some user want to connect to the web server. He is having the public IP of here. No problem. What happened? He will come here through the internet gateway. He goes and he'll connect to this server via with the help of this public IP. Same thing, the user, external user, he can. So your internet gateway, okay, it can even allow the fresh traffic. Suppose any fresh traffic is coming from the outside world, he want to connect to the server. Yes, through the help of a AWS internet gateway, you can connect, but you have to make sure that actually it has the appropriate routing rule added. It means that whenever any external user with some IP address he want to connect with a public IP address, he can able to connect with the help of a internet gateway and with the help of a route table. Now here, come here. Now here what happened, guys? This is something route is there. There is something as a route table association. If you click on it, right, you could see that these two subnet 1, subnet has already been associated. It's already been associated. Okay. So whenever you are doing with the subnet association, you have to make sure that you without explicit, I mean, this is explicitly you can add it. Here also what happened without explicit they have added, no problem. You could see that subnet 1 and subnet 2, whatever we are having, right, these are been associated. So once they are associated, then only they can able to communicate to each other. That's what we do a subnet association. If these routes are there, if you don't do a subnet association, it will not work. Subnet association should be there. So what is subnet association all about? We will see in a further class. Don't worry. So let me go here. Route. Everything is added, guys. That's all. Okay. Now, Rajesh, according to me, all the things. Oh, route table, I have added it. Route table association is also there. Okay. Everything is there, guys. Now it means that I have set my entire VPC and I created these two servers. Let me try to go and log into this server now. Let me check if I'm able to log in or not. Now you could see that I'm able to log in. Yes, see, you added, you logged in. Same thing, Rajesh, can I able to log in here? Yeah. This is the second server. See, I'll say yes, you're able to log in it. Okay. Now, whether I'll be able to ping each other or not. So this IP address, what is the second IP address? If you go here and if you go to the instances, the second private IP address is what? This is the 192.168.155. Yeah, go here. Try to ping from here. Ping 192.168.0.155. See, why are you not able to ping it, guys, locally? Yeah, come on. Correct or not? Okay. What about the server IP address, public IP, private IP? This is the private IP. Come here, ping to 192.168.0.11. You are not able to ping. Both are not able to ping. Why both are not able to ping, guys?
I guess ICMP protocol maybe, Rajesh.
Hmm? Now, ICMP by default you have enabled all traffic, right? If you go to the security group, so if you go here and if you go to the security group here for the server and security group, you could say this is a security group actually. Okay, if you open the security group, now what happened, right? You have mentioned all traffic actually. Okay, inbound rule, all traffic, SSH all traffic actually. Okay, or else if I go and edit the inbound rule, I add one more rule. Oh, this is for SSH. I'll mention all traffic. Yeah, what is that is right. I have to mention all traffic. Okay, here I'll say anywhere IP4 address. Yes, I have to save the rule. Yeah. Now let's see whether you're able to ping or not. Now you're able to ping it. Same thing, you're able to ping it. Right? So that security group and all, guys, I will take a separate topic, right? We have it. So these are the one addition thing which I did now, right? I just added this one of the rule. Okay, I mentioned all traffic. You can even mention all ISP NP also. What is that is right actually. Okay, but this is not recommendable. You cannot in the real time you cannot go and just add this inbound rule as all traffic. That is not correct way. But I'm just for our for just our learning purpose, I just added this one inbound rule actually. Okay. Fine, good. So it means that they are able to ping each other. Now, some of the questions might come to our mind that Rajesh, what is the cost it's going to uh, how much cost is going to happen? Like if I'm trying to use the VPC, whether creating a VPC it's going to cost me? No, sir, it will not cost anything. VPC is free. What about the internet gateway? Is it free or it is costing? It is also free. You need not to pay any money. Okay. Now, what about the route table and all? No, it's all free, guys. There is no money. There's no money. It means that they will not charge anything for you. If you are creating a VPC, you can create as many VPCs as you want, as many internet gateway what you want. You can create it. Yeah. Now, which one is going to cost for you? It will cost for your EC2 instance what you are creating it. But since we are under the free plan and we have got the $100 as a credit, actually, you can launch the instances in that $100. No, it will the bill will be paid off actually, right? So it means that actually literally you are not paying any money to your AWS unless and until you have not exhausted with that $100, like you will not pay anything. Once the $100 is gone, then you should start paying it. Okay. Now, once the $100 gone, whatever the server instance you are choosing, based on that, no, it will bill you for hour, number of hour actually. Okay. Now, what happened, right? Whenever you are sending a traffic from the inside to the outside world, right? Whatever the network bandwidth is uses it actually, okay, the AWS will not charge any money from you. Suppose any traffic is coming from the outside world to the inside, actually, what are the bandwidth it uses, network bandwidth uses to connect to it, right? Only that amount they're going to charge with you. So inbound traffic bandwidth, what are the bands used, right? For that one, they charge it actually. So in the near future, they will see that, okay, how much connectivity is coming from the outside world to the inside actually, to the AWS account or to your AWS inside, how much traffic is coming in. Based on that broadband, right, they're going to charge you the money actually. You will see in your billing also that for some amount, like whatever the network bandwidth which you use, right, for doing any kind of a communication, right, for that also they will charge you. So only for these few things only they will charge you, right? But since we are in the 100, we are in the still free trial and we are getting 100 credit, you are not paying any money at all. Am I clear, sir? So that is first question, what you have in mind. Okay. Now the second question will come to my mind, Rajesh. Rajesh, without the public IP, can anyone outside the world can connect to this machine? No, sir. Without the public IP, you cannot connect. Anybody cannot connect to from the outside. Anybody cannot connect to the server if it doesn't have any public IP. So public IP has to be there actually. Private address by default it gets. How it gets a private address? Based on the subnet, right? Because this is your subnet range for the subnet 2. When you're creating an instance under the subnet 2, whatever the range is there, right? Under that range, an IP address will be picked and it will be given to your server actually. Same thing. Because this virtual machine is created under this subnet 1. What are the IP address is there, right? From the particular IP address, I mean the CADA range, from that range only a private IP address will be assigned to this server. So right now, if you calculate it, you are getting around 123 IPs, right? So randomly take some IP address and will give you. Okay, it doesn't really follow kind of a serious way. Serialized way, it doesn't follow. AWS doesn't follow. Whichever freely available address is there from that particular CADR, it will pick that IP address and will assign to this EC2 instance. Whereas in Azure, Rajesh, how it is? Yeah, it will give a serial way of doing. A serial will give the IP address. Like for example, if this is EC2 instance, this IP address which is given 192.168.0.111. Now you are creating one more server in Azure. I'm showing. What Azure will say that what is the next available IP 192.168.0.112, or it will assign that 112 that newly created server. Similarly, one more server 113, 114. Serial it will give it actually the IP address. Whereas in AWS, it will not like that. Okay, this is IP address, it is assigned. Now you are trying to create one more virtual machine. It will not give the sequential way. It give randomly. It will give 192.0.0.99. It will give that to that newly created server. So randomly it gives, and we not to really worry about that much. Okay, right? Some IP address is assigned from that CIDR range. It get assigned to the newly created server. You have to understand that. So now what I'm saying that without a public IP, nobody can able to connect from the outside world to your server. Similarly, if your server want to send a traffic to the outside world without a public IP, your server cannot connect to the outside world. Public IP address has to be there. Okay. So in that case, Rajesh, there are some for security reason. You know that for the database, right? database, right? You don't assign any public IP address. Public IP address, assigning the public IP address when you are creating a database, yeah, you will not assign any public IP address, because if you assign it, anybody can log in into your database server, right? Because they have an access to this public IP, right? They can hack it, or they can they can disturb this. So that's what happen in the real time. We don't give any kind of a public IP for the database server or for your application server, because nobody should be able to access it actually to the outside world. Okay, fine. But assume that my database server, it want to connect to the outside world. Say for example, my database server patch has to be updated. So obviously, whenever this server, which is a database server, the patch to be added means the patch has to be updated. It means that you have to connect to the outside world, right? Then in that case, how it does it? In that case, you will say that Raj, at that time, do we assign any public IP for this server to make sure that no any kind of patching updates happens? No, we don't do all such things. We don't assign any public IP address. Then in that case, what we do if you want to connect, then in that case, we have one gateway known as a NAT gateway. This NAT gateway you're going to create actually. NAT gateway like this. So we'll have a separate topic, guys, for all these things. We have a NAT gateway. So with the help of a NAT gateway, what happened, right? Your DB server, which is in the private subnet, it can connect to the outside world with the help of this NAT gateway. Again, what happened? It cannot directly connect like this actually, because when you're creating a NAT gateway has to be attached to a subnet which has a public IP. So it understands that subnet 1 is the one which has the public IP address, right? It is assigned it. So this NAT gateway will be attached to this subnet, right? And what happened? NAT gateway will get a public IP address. Now, whenever the EC2 instance, this DB server, it want to connect it actually, it can send a traffic to this NAT gateway actually. So what happened when you are creating a NAT gateway under subnet 1, what NAT gateway will get? NAT gateway will get one private IP address in the subnet 1 shared range. Like for example, 192.168.0 dot something 100. It got it. Assume that, right? And while creating NAT gateway, what NAT gateway will get? It NAT gateway will get a public IP address. Public IP address is going to get it. Okay, now what happened? Because your NAT gateway attached to the subnet 1, because subnet 1 is the one which is exposed to the outside world. So a private IP address will be assigned from the CADA range, right? One private IP address, and one public IP address by default will be given for this NAT gateway. Now what happened, right? Your EC2 instance, which is a database server, which doesn't have any public IP, assume that this doesn't have a public IP address, it can send a traffic to this 192.168.0.100. Because since both the servers, all these subnets, they are connected through a local route. If this server, it can connect to this machine, okay, the same server, this one, it can even connect to this gateway also. It means that it can even send a traffic to this gateway also. So what happened in this case, it directly sends a request to this IP. So this IP, whatever you have, like 192.168, right, it has what happened? This traffic will be routed. Uh, it will be forwarded to this public IP address of the NAT gateway. Through the public IP address, what happened? Like it sends a traffic to the AWS internet gateway. Through the internet gateway, the request will go to the outside world like this. So I will have a dedicated class session, guys, for the NAT gateway. Don't worry. So right now, what you are to understand is actually that whenever any server which doesn't have the public IP address, then in that case, how you can make to communicate the outside world? One of the method is a NAT gateway. Okay, and the process of the NAT gate setting and all is different. We will be learning that very soon, right? But you can able to this server can able to connect to the outside world also. Am I clear, sir? Till here?
Yes, Rajesh.
Yeah, good, sir. Now, yeah, we understood, okay, what is a VPC and what is subnets and what is route table and all, right? Right, and fine, and nothing will be charged, as I said, right? If you don't delete this also, okay, it will not be charged. But make sure that when you practice it, you try to do all kind of a deletion of all these resources, even though it is not charged. Okay, so to make sure that actually for the next time when you're trying to do a practice again, you will be doing a freshly with a new with the new VPC name and with the new subnets and all, right, you will be able to practice it in a well way. So hence what happened from now onwards, whatever you practice the AWS from next 4 5 months, what you have practiced, everything, guys, whatever you create the resources, you have to delete the resources, even though if it doesn't charge, still you need to delete it actually. Am I clear, sir? Okay, guys. Now, I think we can stop it today. It was a small session, but that's fine. So, what we can do in the next class is that actually, guys, next class, okay, we are going to reiterate again, creating reiterate, creating VPC. Okay, but this time, what happened, right? You are going to create two VPC. We'll create two VPC, right? We'll create two VPC. One VPC with one CADA range and other VPC in some other CADA range. Totally two different CADA range. Okay. Then after that, we will create all the things. We are going to create the subnets. We are going to create the secret groups. We are going to create a routing table. We are going to attach a internet gateway. All those things we are going to do it. Fine. And then what happened, right? We can do a VPC to VPC communication. We want to do it. So whenever the VPC to VPC communication want to do it, actually, if there is one server which is under this VPC and there's some other server which is under the other VPC, if these two VPC, if these two servers which are under two different VPC, if they want to communicate each other, then in that case you have to do something known as a VPC peering. Right, this is what we have to do it. So next class, how it will be, guys, it will be more related to the VPC creation and creating two VPC and setting up everything and learning about what is VPC peering, and also try to understand about what is a private subnet and public subnet. So this is what we are going to learn, and also we will be learning about something about the security groups actually. We'll start with security group in the next class, but I don't think I'll be completing it. I have to continue with the other session, next session. So after the security group, I will be discussing about the NAT gateway. Of course, there are so many other gateways are there, but NAT gateway is one which usually we use it actually. So this would be our agenda for next class topic actually. Tomorrow, Saturday morning, right? Guys, we'll be having around. I'll tell you the time. Maybe like 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock. We'll have a class tomorrow, Saturday, and we will try to finish this VPC pairing topic. At least VPC pairing in a perfect way. We'll try to complete it tomorrow, right? And also before we get into the VPC and all, right, what I will do that I will give a high level architecture design for your entire VPC. I'm going to give you. We'll start with that. It will take around 20 minutes to half an hour to discuss this, and then we will reiterate to create the VPCs. We'll not create one VPC, as I said, we'll create two VPC, and we'll play around how to create a VPC pairing and all. And finally, we'll get into the what is private, public subnets and all, and what is security groups, NAT gateway, NACLs. We have all separate topics now, actually. Am I clear, sir? Okay, guys, with that, we're going to stop it. Okay, let me stop the recording.